Welcome to a new edition of Primus Policy Square, where every month we bring face to face with eminent personalities who are trying to raise the bar of excellence in their chosen spheres. Today we are at the Kalyani Group headquarters at Bharat Forge in Pune, where we bring you Mr. Amit Kalyani, doing fabulous work as a corporate captain of India, bringing in a number of new technologies, new ways of working in industrial systems that are moving India forward in efficiency, particularly in some of the concerns around sustainability. And I think this is particularly a happy moment that we are meeting on the eve of the COP28 declarations and a number of commitments that the global community has made and India has endorsed. Welcome to Policy Square, Amit Kalyani. It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you, Davinder.
So I've been, looking at some of the conversations that you've been having at global meets like Davos and some important Indian forums. And there is a great expectation of your commitment to sustainability and taking the Kalyani Group forward, both in terms of ensuring industrial efficiency, but at the same time ensuring that we are sustainable and greener. So how do you see this developing forward, and what is of particular interest to you?
So I look at sustainability from 2 points of view. One is sustainability of your enterprise and what you can do within your enterprise to become more sustainable, reduce your consumption, reuse as much as possible, recycle everything that you can, and be more of a positive impact on your environment. The second is how can you create a positive impact on society, especially areas outside of your four walls. And I think in the areas outside our four walls, we have started working long back. So even before CSR was mandated, we started working in rural areas in Maharashtra by adopting a very scientific approach. We identified 100 villages in India which were drought prone and could barely have one crop a year. We measured their financial metrics, their educational metrics, health matrices, and then using NGOs, we identified what are the key areas of concern and what needs to be fixed in order to help these villages. We started by first providing water for agriculture by desilting existing reservoirs, removing that very valuable silt which is high in nutrients and spreading it across crops, across the agricultural area, and then increasing the capacity of water storage multifold. We also built new dams and check dams. We put pipelines in place, and that dramatically improved the agricultural production. Many places started getting two crops as a minimum, in some cases even three, and per capita income has gone up by as much as 15 times. Because when you get three crops of fruit or three different fruits or two crops of vegetables, your income goes up dramatically. We also help them to not burn the waste but use it in other means, either as fodder or as input for biofuels, etc. Then thirdly, we looked at the health matrices. We identified water and animal borne diseases and built animal shelters for all of them outside their homes, put piped water in these villages with water treatment and medical facilities. And lastly was education, improving the educational infrastructure of these villages to make people have a better level of education, standard of education, especially focusing on women children by putting proper toilets and facilities for pre-teen and teen girls so that they don't drop out. So this was our contribution to outside the plant. Within our manufacturing facilities, we started in early 2000 or actually late 1990s by setting up almost 40 megawatts of renewable energy, which was powering our plants. Today, our total installed renewable energy capacity is in excess of 300 megawatts, and we will take this to 700 megawatts by 2030. That means that from about 65% of our energy coming from renewable, we will be at 100% of a much larger amount of energy that we need. Then we reduced and monitored our usage of water. per ton usage of water has dropped by over 30% in the last 3 years, and we will continue to monitor this and bring it down. We have reduced our discharge by almost 95%, and we are recycling over 99% of the waste generated in our plant. It's in excess of 99.2%. So, by doing all these measures, we have reduced the impact of our business on the environment. So, we take less from the environment than we otherwise would. I'll give you some specific examples. We changed over from fuel based heating to electric heating, induction heating, that produces no pollution. Then we have um, uh, I'm very happy to say that the Kalyani Group was the first certified green steel manufacturer in India, which both under scope 2 and scope 3 can be net zero and is net zero where demanded. Kalyani Ferresta, which is a brand owned by Sarloha, by the Kalyani Group and manufactured by Sarloha, is a green steel brand, and we're today selling uh, 5 to 8,000 tons of engineering steel to customers who specifically want to buy green steel. And we will expand this capacity to almost 250,000 tons in the next 2 years and then beyond that. So, we have taken some measures which are, I would say, out of the box, but also shown that Indian companies can be way ahead of others in being renewable. Now, in being renewable, we have also not compromised on the business side of things. I think India and Indian companies have an unbeatable advantage when it comes to renewable energy, being the most competitive form of energy in India and probably amongst the most competitive form of electrical energy anywhere in the world. So we don't have to pay a penalty of price to get renewable energy. We actually get a benefit of cost. So that is what we have done, and we have created a lot of awareness of what it means to be more ecologically conscious, more environmentally friendly, and we've created a terminology and a brand which we call Planet Positive, which means everything we do has to be positive for the planet and for the environment that we operate in. So, air, water, and land, we have to have a positive impact and a positive impact on the people around us. So, this is the brand that we have created and the philosophy that we are following in our business.
So this is fabulous to hear, because I think the word holistic would perhaps not do justice to, I think, all of everything approach that you're having, both outside and within the plant, within communities, within employees, within the way you think in technology. So I was thinking that when you look at what the G20 just talked of in the cities program, talked of recycle, talked of reuse, talked of retrofit, and if one sees the fact that air quality indicator is a major issue in our urban centers nowadays, transport being an important part of the whole mix. And I was reading that at the COP declaration yesterday, there is a great focus on, I think the COP declaration uses the word immediate need for reduction of emission as well as zero emission in transport. In that sense, your foray into retrofitment is very relevant and is in line with what the G20 and the COP this week has mandated. So how are you pushing forward this fabulous initiative?
So let me tell you our philosophy behind retrofitment. There are three angles to this. One is that we have existing large fleets of city transport and municipal transport and private transport buses, which are used in a variety of different applications and by different institutions. It could be municipal transport, it could be state transport, it could be city transport, it could be school buses, it could be private company owned buses. Now these buses are already existent and running on the streets. There has been a huge amount of carbon dioxide and emissions already emitted in producing these. Now, the easiest way to decarbonize the cities or to reduce the emissions of the cities is if you can take these existing buses and make them electric. A, it reduces time, it reduces cost, and you are not creating new emissions in the manufacturing process of these vehicles. So that is where we thought that in a country like India, a solution like this could be a very good bridging solution for the next 5 to 10 years. So we have a retrofit solution that our team has come up with, which is both for buses and trucks. These are all for last mile application. So the range could vary between say 100 to 250 kilometers. Depending on the amount of range you want, the battery pack size will change. But it is cost effective, it is fast, and it is efficient, and it can rapidly be used to decarbonize. Secondly, if you look at certain applications such as school buses and employee transport, these are all point to point operating. They operate on a route and they come back to home. So a school bus, for example, will go out at say 6:30 in the morning, pick up people and return back to the school say at 8 o'clock. Then from 8 till about 2 o'clock, it is parked. So it can be charged during that time, and then it goes back and drops the children and comes back. So each routing is not typically more than 25 to 50 kilometers. So if you're talking about 25 to 50 kilometers, even if you provide a battery pack which can give it 80 kilometers, you're not designing something for 200 kilometers and only using it for 50. You can charge it during the day with solar, you can charge it during the night with the lowest cost of energy, and still meet the complete need of the usage without any compromise in a safe, efficient, and clean manner. So, this is where we feel that these applications are extremely useful and can be extremely game changing. So, these are the applications that we will now deploy our buses on. We've already done the proof of concepts, we've got certification. The trucks are already have already run more than 2 lakh kilometers or 200,000 kilometers without any problem, including more than 30,000 kilometers with our customers with actual load conditions. And now the buses are under a trial, and I'm very confident that in the next 6 months we will start converting and delivering buses to our clients.
This is fabulous.
And let me just mention, the buses in this situation will dramatically reduce the cost per kilometer and improve the efficiency for the institution as well. Especially the back to base kind of applications where you don't have long range, the cost dramatically drops.
So I was just reading of an experiment that happened, I think it was in the United States, where in a dense urban environment where they do not have land to install solar arrays, they've actually installed the solar arrays on the rooftops of the school buses. Yeah. So while they need only half of the energy that they generate from those solar panels, but when they are parked, they're actually generating for the school lighting. So I think this is a very good initiative that you're pushing forward, and the fact that the TCO is comparable.
It's actually significantly lower.
Significantly lower, and
the operating cost will be about 35% on a variable basis of the operating cost of a diesel vehicle.
I think this is fabulous, and I think the market would really lap up this initiative as you launch it. And of course, I mean, as a citizen, I can only wish you the best of that going forward. I also wanted to look into your mind because Bharat Forge has been associated with Indian Railways over the last 20-30 years as a major technical partner. In our large country, public transport will always remain important.
Absolutely.
If you look at railways today, there's almost a historical amount of capex that's been inducted into improvement. And it also ties in very well with your own ambition of a sustainable society.
Yeah.
So how do you think that the Kalyani Group and Bharat Forge will engage in the railway sector going forward?
So we have, we have embarked on a strategic initiative of growing our railway business. Our railway business before 2017 was largely focused on diesel locomotives. Now, India probably is the only country in the world that completely switched from diesel to electric, as in no new diesel past the G locomotives that we are buying. And the future is all going to be electric. These trains are going to be very different from the trains that ran in India for a very long time. Already with the Vande Bharat trains, you can see the big difference. The quality of the train, the quality of the travel experience is dramatically improving. There is huge opportunity in the upgradation process and the modernization process, where the government is spending probably the largest amount of money that has ever been spent in the lifeline of India, which is the railways, in the hardware side, in the electronics and control side, in the signaling side. And a lot of these applications we have the opportunity to create new solutions using state of the art technologies, including AI, including digital, including multi image processing kind of solutions. And a lot of these solutions we have in buckets such as our EV bucket, our defense bucket. So we're going to take technologies and knowledge from various different buckets that exist within our enterprise, put them together to develop new products and new solutions for these markets, plus work with existing players and existing requirements in providing whatever we can. But I think the railway sector is dramatically going to transform, like how you saw the air sector transform. I think the railway sector is going to transform both from the long distance transit to the urban transport and the last mile transport. I think last mile transport, today we only have heavy and high cost last mile transport, which is the metro systems, which are built for high traffic routes. But we also need light rail systems which go on the smaller traffic routes or the secondary and tertiary routes, because they will then form the hub and spoke of a typical metropolitan transport network, like how you have in New York, like how you have in anywhere in the West. They have two different systems. You have hub and spoke, so the spokes are lighter and the hubs are greater, and that then becomes a new form of transport for people, a more effective, efficient form of transport, which can take you right to the last mile. So I think we're still going to see a lot of new development and new technologies coming up here. If you remember, a few years ago, there was a lot of talk about this Hyperloop. I think Hyperloop is a very expensive solution. It's a very high technology solution, but I think it showed a direction. And I think on that direction, people are working on creating lower cost, more effective, and more efficient solutions which don't have to travel at 500 kilometers an hour. Even if they travel, you're talking about distances of maximum 20-25 kilometers. Even if they travel at 100 to 120 kilometers an hour, that's more than enough. So I think there are going to be new solutions coming up which will solve this problem and give us a lot of new opportunities to play in this market.
In all my conversations with you, I always see this emerging picture of Kalyani mobility, and I think you just exhibited that by mentioning all parts of the system that we need to bring together. So this is fabulous. How do you see your global initiatives? Because I'm aware that the Kalyani Group is India's first multinational. It was one of the first companies that went out and made investments, and you have significant operations in Europe and North America. So how do you see this all coming together, this exchange of technologies, a sustainable enterprise which is national but even global? And what's your view about that?
So our view on being a global enterprise is to serve our customers globally. Quite frankly, as you know that 70% of our revenues comes from outside India. This will increase. What's happening is, I think Europe is seeing a lot of difficult times. I think the impact of the inflation in Europe, especially due to energy, due to the war in Ukraine, and now the whole Middle East situation, is going to be pretty difficult to gauge. But Bharat Forge has not imported technology from our subsidiaries into India. In fact, we are exporting technology today, and we're also helping in terms of talent and management. So while I think there is some amount of difficulty being faced, I'm confident that we'll overcome this, and we will make our subsidiaries amongst the best run in their field in those areas, because of the tremendous talent, knowledge, customer, let's say, affection that we have, and the ability to grow and invest for growth. But large part of our investment for growth is all going to happen in India. It's going to be manufactured in India and supplied from India to the world. I think there's no better place to manufacture in India, especially our kind of products and solutions for the global requirements.
Thank you for your time today, Amit Kalyani ji. And so listeners, we are up close with one of the doyens of sustainable corporate leadership going forward. As I said, there is a great expectation from him, and as we've all just heard him out, it's quite clear that the Kalyani Group remains sustainable. It's expanding, and it's expanding its footprint in mobility, in technology, and is going to be the powerhouse that takes it to the rest of the world as a global organization. Thank you once again for your
Thank
time
you.
today. Thank you.
Thank you.